Photoshop has 3 brand new adjustment layers: Color and Vibrance, Clarity and Dehaze, and Grain. These are all amazing. I'm so happy for these additions, and today we're gonna show you how to use all of them in Photoshop. So adjustment layers are a great way to adjust your light and your color with your images. They're non-destructive. You can turn them off and on at any time. They come with layer masks, so you can define exactly where they're gonna be visible. And with these 3 new adjustments, you're gonna wanna make sure you update to the latest version of Photoshop. You can do that right inside your Creative Cloud installer. So here in Creative Cloud, let's go ahead and click on our apps. Now on the right hand side, you're gonna see your installed apps. You can see Photoshop's right there. I'm gonna click on View Updates. If you have any updates there, you can click on them. I like to just click on this Update All button, but you wanna make sure you're using the latest version of Photoshop. In this case, it's gonna be 27.31. Here you'll get access to these brand new features. So let's go ahead and show you how to use all 3 new adjustment layers. Here we are in our first example for Color and Vibrance. Now there are a couple ways you can access your adjustment layers. You can go to Layer, down to New Adjustment Layer right over here, and then here are the new 3: Color and Vibrance, Clarity and Dehaze, as well as Grain. You can also get to those here in your layer panel by clicking on this icon, boop, and then you can see Color and Vibrance, Clarity and Dehaze, as well as Grain. Let's go ahead and click on Color and Vibrance. Now, it went ahead and created in my layers panel a Color and Vibrance adjustment layer. So I can make adjustments to the adjustment layer itself or to the mask. They already come with a mask by default, which means you can control visibility. You can make them visible in certain parts of the image and invisible in other parts. We're gonna show you how to do that in just a little bit. So let's go ahead and click here on an adjustment layer. We're gonna move into our properties panel, and you can see Color and Vibrance. Now this was kind of borrowed from Lightroom. So if you're a Lightroom user, this is gonna be really familiar. Here we can see our white balance. We have our color temperature and our tint. I love that it goes from blue to yellow and then green to magenta, so we can see what we're doing. And then we have vibrance and saturation. Now the difference between vibrance and saturation is that saturation is just gonna bump up the intensity of all your colors, but vibrance is gonna protect skin tone. So if you have people in your images, vibrance is what you're gonna wanna use. We're gonna show you how to do this. Okay, now with your color temperature, your white balance here, you can set this to the default, or you can use this eyedropper to actually set the white balance of your photo. So if the white balance of your photo is a little bit too blue or a little bit too yellow or too green or too magenta, you can update this by clicking on the eyedropper. Now with the eyedropper, you wanna make sure you choose a target neutral, basically gray. Think about like my shirt. This is what you wanna click on the image, is a gray color. Now here, we're gonna go ahead and click on the eyedropper, and I'm gonna hover over top of my image, and I'm gonna say that, you know what, this mountain back there looks like El Capitan maybe, that Alex Honnold climbed in Free Solo. Let's go ahead and click there, because that's probably about gray. Let's go ahead and click there, and you're gonna see it made a little adjustment to my color temperature as well as my tint. Basically, it's gonna assume that that's gray. Now, here's the thing. You can click on any part of your image. I can click on this yellow leaf. If I click here, you can see it actually turned this yellow leaf completely gray. Again, it's trying to make wherever you click gray, and it's gonna adjust the rest of your image to make that so. So in this case, it just made my entire image blue. But don't worry, it's not permanent, no big deal. You can just bring the eyedropper to a different color if you want, or you can simply reset your sliders. You can do that with this reset icon right over here. Look at that, boop, and it'll just reset the entire thing. Or let's say if I click there, I can reset my individual sliders by clicking and dragging them back to the neutral position. I can click here and simply type in 0, or I can double click right here on this little guy, and it's gonna bring it right back to the center. Okay, so a few different ways to reset. You can also, of course, just choose your own white balance. Sometimes you want your image to be a little bit warmer. Maybe you want it a little bit more green. You can do this. There's nothing wrong with it, okay? You can like make your image feel the way you want it to feel. Okay, so that's our white balance with temperature and tint. Now let's go ahead and move into vibrance and saturation. So when I bring my vibrance up, you're gonna see, wow, all of a sudden we have a lot more color in our image. There we go. Let's click on saturation, and when I do saturation, the color gets cranked up evenly across everything, and it looks okay, but if you bring saturation all the way up to 100, you're gonna get some results that really don't look that realistic. So let's go ahead and reset our saturation by double clicking right over here, and bring our vibrance up a little bit higher, and you can see the results look a lot more natural. So I do suggest using vibrance. In this case, let's go ahead and bring our color temperature down just a little, something like that looks really good. You can make these adjustments all day. Now the cool thing, these are adjustment layers, so you can turn them off and on at any time. So we're gonna go to our layer panel. Let's just turn this layer off and back on and see what a beautiful difference we made for our image. Now, we just talked about how vibrance is really great for people. Saturation is a little bit more of a strong effect that's gonna boost all of our colors. So in our next example, we're gonna do the same thing, but we're gonna show you with people. So let's move here into our next example, color and vibrance. We have a nice looking family here. We're gonna do the same exact adjustment layers. So we're gonna go to layer, down to new adjustment layers, and we're gonna go to color and vibrance. There we go. Let's click OK and zoom in a little bit. Now, I do want to mention you can download all of these images and follow along. It's completely free. Just click on the link right down below. Okay, let's jump back in. So here what we're going to do is let's go ahead and try to find a target neutral. We're going to say, yeah, her shirt, that looks like a gray color, right? So let's go ahead and choose our eyedropper here for our color and vibrance. And we're going to click here on this gray color. Boop. And that's going to see, it's going to bring my color temperature a little bit cooler. Okay, actually brought it warmer, +2, and it brought our tint a little bit more green, -8. Now let's go ahead and check out the difference between our vibrance and our saturation. So vibrance, again, this is what you want to use if you have people in your images. Vibrance, we're gonna crank up, and you can see all the way up to here, like this looks really, really good. If I go all the way, the people's skin starts to look a little bit orange, maybe like a little bit unnatural. But as long as I keep this down below like 70, honestly, it looks really good. Now let's go ahead and reset our vibrance slider and take our saturation up. And you can see as I take my saturation up, look at what happens with our people's faces. They get really orange, especially down here with her legs and the hair here. We're getting some unnatural colors. So if you do have people in your images, honestly, I suggest leaving saturation alone. Don't even touch it. Bring your vibrance up. That's gonna make a big difference in your image, and just go all the way up, like keep it between like 70, 80, and your people are gonna look really, really good. Let's go to our layers panel. I'm just gonna turn this off and on. Look at what a difference this makes. One adjustment layer makes a huge difference in this photograph. And honestly, I'm in love. If all you did was that, you're gonna have a huge before and after. So that was our adjustment layer, color and vibrance. Honestly, super powerful. You can use this on any one of your images. Now, the next adjustment layer is clarity and dehaze. It's actually two different tools. And for that, we have two different examples. So here we are back in Photoshop. Let's go to our clarity example. Now with our clarity example, we're gonna go to layer, down to new adjustment layer, and we're gonna choose the second of our new adjustment layers, clarity and dehaze. Boop, there we go. And let's click on OK. Now that's gonna automatically move you into your properties panel. And for this, we're gonna focus here on clarity. And for the next image, we'll focus on dehaze. Okay, so clarity, honestly, I really love the clarity slider. If you're a Lightroom user, you've known clarity and dehaze. So they basically pulled these adjustment layers directly from Lightroom, but you've seen these before, clarity and dehaze. They're really powerful. You can see they just like basically bring like a mid-tone contrast to your photo that makes your images look a little bit clearer. Now, if you are a Lightroom user, you know that there's also a texture slider in Lightroom, which I love personally. I'm hoping they add texture to clarity and dehaze. That would just be so nice. But for now, it's just clarity and dehaze because I really love that texture slider in Lightroom. Okay, but let's go ahead and bring up that clarity, and this looks really good. And for this example, what we're gonna do is I'm gonna go back to more layers panel. So here I have my clarity and dehaze. I like that new icon. We're gonna turn this off and on. Now, here's the thing. These come with layer masks, right? Which means you can control where they're visible. And oftentimes we don't want this to be visible everywhere in the image. What we're gonna do, I'm gonna click on my layer mask icon. Let's go ahead and invert the layer mask. It's white right now, which means it's visible everywhere. But you know what? I want it to be black to make it invisible everywhere. And I kind of want to paint in the areas where I want the clarity effect. So we're gonna click on our layer mask. What we're gonna do is I'm gonna go here into our contextual taskbar. We're gonna go to more options, and I'm gonna just go ahead and say invert mask, okay? It's white now. It's just gonna turn it black, which is gonna make it invisible. So let's click on invert mask. You can also click on Control or Command I to invert, or you could go to edit and then down to fill, and then you could go ahead and choose your contents would be black, okay? And hit okay. That's a few different ways to do that. All you want is a black layer mask. Now, we want to use our brush tool. We can hit B for the brush tool and paint white, or what we can simply do is paint add to mask. So let's go ahead and click on add to mask, which literally just makes your brush tool white. That's all it does. And now I can just paint this in, okay? And as I paint this in, right over here on this apple, I'm gonna go on some of these leaves. There we go. I'm on 100% opacity, just painting white on my layer mask. And you can see that's what my layer mask looks like. Literally, It's black around the edges, meaning this is going to be invisible around the edges. And it's white here in the center where my apple is, meaning it's going to be visible where the apple is. And if I turn this off or on, there you can see that's where I painted in this area. I don't have to be super, good at painting. I'm just being a little bit sloppy here, but it doesn't matter. It's just going to add a little bit of clarity. Let's go ahead and double click right here on our adjustment layer again, which all that does is bring you into your properties panel. And here I can adjust my clarity, and there we go. Look at that. So I can bump that up. And that's a really cool before and after, a really simple effect that you can draw more attention into your subject. It works really great for so many different types of subjects. I wouldn't do this so much on a person's face necessarily, but for like a piece of fruit or a product or even a landscape, this works really, really well. Okay, now our next tool in this same adjustment layer is Dehaze. But for that, we're gonna bring in a new sample image. So let's go ahead to our new sample image. And this has a little bit of haze. You can see it's a little bit foggy. The blacks are a little bit gray. This is kind of like any type of a fog or, image that we're here that doesn't have a lot of contrast. This is gonna be perfect for Dehaze. Okay, so we're gonna go to Layer, down to New Adjustment Layer, and over to our Clarity and Dehaze. Let's go ahead and click there, hit OK. And then, of course, we have our Dehaze. So we're gonna go ahead and bring up Dehaze and look at this, boom, this is such a nice effect. Literally it takes all this gray area and undefined area and it just brings it to life in a stunning manner. I think this looks so good. Now here, I want to take this a little bit further by using a couple different adjustment layers together. So you can see Clarity and Dehaze already did a great job. Okay, what happens now if I'm okay, I like that I did Dehaze on my entire image, but what about if I want to do clarity, but just where this building is, okay? What I would want to do in that case is do another clarity and dehaze adjustment layer and use a layer mask. So let's show you how to do it. We're going to go to our layer, down to new adjustment layer, and over to clarity and dehaze, hit OK. Now this time we're going to bring up our clarity, boop, that looks good, but I don't want this to be visible everywhere. So let's click on our layer mask. We're going to go to our menu item here in more options with our contextual taskbar. We'll go to invert mask. I'm going to go to add to mask. I can use my open and close brackets to make my brush larger or smaller. And here I'm just adding some clarity to the building, maybe a little bit of the rocks behind and the waterfall. Okay, so here we go. There we go. That's the clarity. And you can see it's only visible where the building is. Dehaze is going to be visible everywhere, but clarity is just where the building is. And now, why not? Let's go ahead and throw a color and vibrance. So we're going to go to Layer, down to New Adjustment Layer, and go to Color and Vibrance. Boom. And then this time, let's go ahead and take our Vibrance slider and bring that back up there and add some vibrance to this image. And let's go ahead and make our color temperature a little bit, let's make it a little bit cooler. I kind of like that. Again, you don't have to make your color temperature exactly, you don't have to use this eyedropper and make the pure gray exactly what it was. You can decide, I want this image warmer, I want this image cooler. That's going to be up to you based on what you think looks good for each individual image. There we go. Let's go ahead and turn this off, clarity, or our color and vibrance. You can see what a difference that is. Clarity and Dehaze 2 and Clarity and Dehaze 1. So I'm going to just turn all these off. Let's click and drag here on all these eyeballs. Boop. That's turning all of them off, and then click and drag on all of them back on again. You can see what a difference that made with this image. And of course, non-destructive. I can turn these off and on at any time. I can double click here and I can change these settings at any time. This will not affect your original background image. This is a non-destructive workflow. So we've covered two of our brand new adjustment layers. The last one is grain. Now this is really cool for creating some vintage type effects, or if you're doing some artistic effects, I like to use a little bit of grain. So our third example, let's go to our grain image. Now I actually have two different photographs that I brought in here. What we're gonna do, I'm gonna change the blending mode of this image. We're gonna change this from normal. We're gonna try lighten or screen. I just thought this was a really cool effect. Let's hit Control or Command T for transform. I'm gonna just scale this up a little bit and hit enter. This is the same subject, just like two different images of the same subject. I just like this. I like both of these photographs, and combined, it creates a really interesting, cool effect. Now, I want to add some grain to this because it's kind of an artistic image. So grain tends to work well. Even if you're doing compositing, a little bit of grain will help bring everything together. Okay, so we're going to go to our layer, down to New Adjustment Layer, and over to Grain. There we go. hit OK. You could add grain in Photoshop before this, but it was a long drawn out process. I'm really glad that they have this now built into Photoshop. Okay, so here in your properties panel, you're gonna start with the amount of grain. I'm gonna drag that's kind of like way up so you can actually see it. There we go. We can change our size, which I really appreciate here as well. It's changing, you can see the size of the grain there. I'm just gonna zoom in even more so you can really see it. And you can change the roughness, which is basically like the contrast of your grain. There we go. So all of these can be changed at any time. You can kind of dial these in. I'm gonna just kind of make this pretty intense so you can see it. Let's go to our layers panel. I'm just gonna turn this grain off and on so we can see what we're doing. Keep in mind, let's say you actually like the size of the grain, like you like the effect, but you just want it to be more subtle, no big deal. Just go into your layers panel. You can just lower the opacity of your adjustment layer, okay? You can just lower that until it looks good, because that before was like a little too much, until it looks good. And here you can see we have some grain, right? There's some grain in my image, but it just does a beautiful job of blending into my photographs. And it kind of makes it look like this was a double exposure done in camera, which I really, really love. A little bit of blue with the red. I think this is a gorgeous, gorgeous image. And a little bit of grain helps it kind of come together. So there we have it, our 3 brand new adjustment layers. Don't forget, you can download all of these sample images and PSD files totally free on Phlearn.com. Just click on the link right down below. And if you want to get more free Photoshop tutorials, click on subscribe. Thank you so much. I'll Phlearn you later. Bye everyone.